Hi, welcome to this STAIR Tailored. I'm Sarah Powell from the University of Texas at Austin, and right now we are focusing on how to subtract fractions with unlike denominators, and right now we're going to use the area model of fractions. So the area model means that when we have any area, we can take that area and divide it into equal parts. We can use geoboards for this, we can use pattern blocks, and right now we are going to use the fraction circles. So I'm going to use those fraction circles to subtract 7/8 minus 1/4. Let's see what it looks like. So when we are subtracting fractions with a concrete model, like the fraction circles, I still always want to have my problem written here. And I'm going to set up 7/8 first. So I have an area or a whole, and I can divide that whole into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts, 8 equal parts. And for this fraction, man, these are finicky today, I'm going to show 7 of those 8 equal parts. So I'll get them arranged here to show that this circular area, that red area, can be divided into 7 equal parts. There, that looks a little bit nicer. Now I want to subtract 1/4. I can do this a few ways. One is I can bring in a 1/4 piece, and I can see, well, 1/4 is equivalent to 2/8, and so I need to take away 2 1/8 pieces. But it's not always that easy, especially when I have common denominators, or I have denominators that aren't as closely related to each other as 7/8 and 1/4 are. So I'm going to show for my reference 1/4, and I'm going to use my multiples. I'm going to list those out here. I'm going to figure out, well, what is the common denominator if I have a fraction with a denominator of 8 and a fraction with a denominator of 4? What is the common denominator? So here I'll go ahead and list out the multiples for 8, and then I list out the multiples for 4. We just list the first 5 multiples or so. And then I ask myself, well, what is the least common multiple? I see the least common multiple here is 8. So that means I'm going to have each of these fractions, I want to have them with a denominator of 8. So in this model, I have a fraction that already has a denominator of 8. Yay, we don't need to do anything. But here, I want to take this 1/4 piece, and I want to make it so it's in 8ths. So that means I need to take this 1/4 piece and divide it into 1, 2 1/8 parts. So I'll get out my 1/8 parts, and I'll place them right on top of my 1/4 piece. So for my reference, I need to take away 1, 2 1/8 parts. I'm not going to touch this reference set anymore, but I'm going to move up here, and I'll take away 1, 2 1/8 parts. So when I have 7/8 and we subtract 1/4, our difference is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And remember, those were 8ths, 5/8. And if I want to rewrite the problem so that I show the common denominators, and I could have done that now, or I could have done that a little bit earlier in the problem, 7/8 minus 2/8 equals 5/8. So that was an example of how we can subtract fractions with the area model. There we use the fraction circles. So I hope you'll tune into some of our other STAIR tailored sessions where you can see how we can use the other models of fractions to subtract.